Hi all. I wanted to make this video while the atmosphere behind me is quite exciting and there's some lightning and thunder going on, but it's decided let's ride the wave of this current. Just been putting out a lot of content, but you know, the more you all seem to appreciate it and value it, the more it motivates me to do this type of discovery and sharing with you all. So I wanted to make this video partially in my own medicine right now of, you know, what's coming up to be looked at and what wants to be seen and heard and known. And a few topics just came up that I wanted to share, and one is this concept of harmonizing the divine male and female energies within. As I for sure believe in reincarnation, whether you do or not, you can, you know, consider, well, in the view of reincarnation, we've all been many lives of many men and women, and so we have that reference point of what it's like to be. Whether you're a man now, it's like if you do believe in past lives and you resonate with that concept and you can conceptualize having been a woman, then we realize that, you know, an attack on the divine male is an attack on the divine male in all of us. An attack on the divine female is an attack on the divine female in all of us. Whether you're a man or a woman, these energies within, we really want to work to harmonize with them, harmonize them together, harmonize with them, harmonize these energies together, you know, so that our expression of our beingness, whether you're a man or a woman, is going to be, you know, an embodiment of both, really. Even though the physical expression is going to be one or the other, and I'm not going to get into that whole conversation that's kind of a political hot topic right now, but looking at male and female genders, and when I've done the work and put the intention, and this is part of making this video, when I've adequately put my intention to harmonizing those energies within, then I just find whether I encounter another man or another woman, it's because, you know, it's not just men and women getting along, it's women and women getting along, men and men getting along, men being able to care for each other, you know, access that more empathetic, caring side of them, women being able to access the camaraderie, the, you know, not needing to compete with one another, and I mean, it's just, there's all sorts of ways that we're expressing male and female traits all the time. And you know, I like to work out and I like to do yard work and get really strong, and that's something that maybe is more men typically gravitate to, or working on engines and cars and learning about mechanical things. But there's other men, they love to cook and they're really talented at having the home, you know, making sure the home is impeccable, and those are typically considered more female traits. So, you know, just putting the intention to harmonizing the divine male and divine female energies within myself, I hope you can do the same and sense the value, sense the, you know, if you can just intuitively tap into the results of that and putting in that effort and the positive results that might come. So this is a little more disorganized and rambly than I was hoping. The rain's coming down, but you know, because I say over and over again how this really is a holographic universe. I know that the external world around me that I'm creating, all of us, it's 100% a reflection of what's going on with it. So things are coming up in my physical world related to, gosh, why are these men, you know, and there's, I'm sure, women too, but why are these people trying to stop me from doing what is, I feel like, a really good thing? Okay, well, where inside may I be trying to stop myself from doing a really good thing, right? It's 100% a reflection, and the more that we can just go inside to look for the answers, and ask the questions. But I've been getting some really good rest lately and just been feeling just incredible euphoria when I'm going into resting meditation state. Just such a warmth in my heart. And digging in and looking for information that I feel I need to have peace of mind, and doing my due diligence to uncover and the darkness, to be able to shine the light on it. It's an opportunity, really. Anything that comes up that seems like it's a block in our path, and we're like, what is this? Why do I have to deal with this? And we might get a little cranky, a little grumpy from time to time about it. But at the end of the day, we are writing our own stories. And so I'm 100% writing this story, and I'm, in a sense, asking myself, why am I writing this story? Wait, why this character? Why this chapter? And right now, because all time is now, and sometimes it's like we might get an insight that brings us back to something in the past. It's like, I gotta go look into that. And that's how the past 4 years has been for me. I've been piecing together my truth by piecing together events, memories coming back from when I was 6, that gave a whole new perspective on events that happened when I was 19 or when I was 35 or 36. And so, this has become quite normal for me. Even the part of looking into my family's history and genetics, seeing the connections with the Scottish, my last name is Spence, 100% Scottish tribe, and the connections with the natives that come through. They married a lot of, I have a lot of native blood. I have Cree, Blackfoot, Ute, and then on my mom's side, the connections with the Germans in New Swabia, or Bavaria, which is where Swabia and New Swabia is. If anyone's ever heard anything about that, if you haven't, I'll just leave it as a rabbit hole, I suppose. But my family's connected to the Kennedys, right? My great-grandfather helped get JFK elected, and then was in his administration cleaning up the corruption, little by little, going through all the wartime supplies and adjusting them according to what they were meant to be, and seeing where the government had paid an exorbitant amount for lead because the guy working in the lead department was from the lead industry. So they were methodically going through and shining a light on the darkness. And with everything that's been going on, I try so hard to stay out of politics, but my great uncle, he was interviewed by the Kennedy Museum in Washington, D.C., and going into that family history and seeing how, we didn't talk about any of this when I was a kid. No one, I guess other family members weren't interested in it. I'm super interested in it now. And my career was my 3 years in the medical device industry was somewhat parallel to his work, because we were both traveling to lots of countries, and he did later work in DC, where he was working in, I think, economics, or looking at I'm not even really sure, but we, again, like, things might happen in the past and it seems like, oh, it's over and done with, but if there's still threads that tie it to the present moment, and if we're really being able to, I just had a moment when I was feeling these incredible euphoria feelings and just such warmth in my body. I immediately went, and I just was in my house, one of my houses growing up, and I immediately just was going into I had the room at the top of the house, and I was just going up the stairs, and I was experiencing that bedroom and details that I had totally forgotten about. The whole layout, I can see it in my mind's eye right now, and it's like I'm there. And we really are awakening to these abilities of where our consciousness is the vessel, our consciousness is the vehicle, or it's the vessel. It's I think the body is like the vessel, but the consciousness is its own vessel that can exit the body and travel, and we can go to different places in time and space. You know, it's like I was just 14 or 15, again, 16 again, flying up the stairs and remembering the way I used to hold on the banister and just zoom up these stairs. It was a attic that had been remodeled, and I mean, I was just seeing so many details. It was incredible. So I feel if you're watching this, there's a good chance you're probably also having these abilities waken in you, or you are looking to. And when, again, another benefit, harmonizing the divine masculine and feminine within, and assists us to be a shareable wave, to where when we're thinking such unconditionally loving thoughts about everyone and everything all the time, and we can exit our body and be 100% the same, right? Because we're not attached to the physicality of some kind of, something that we have in the material realm. We can't take it with us in the astral, and maybe that's too scary for people if they're really attached. But if we can really embody our light body and know that that's a very real manifestation of our consciousness, and it's almost like switching avatar modes. People talk about simulation theory. I'm sure that's I have read into that. I've read books, and it's very in line, I feel, with the holographic universe theory, where our consciousness is generating this. So it feels like it's almost like switching avatar modes. Like right now I'm in my human Hannah avatar mode, right? But just now in the nap, I was in pure consciousness mode, and I was able to, just like almost go back in time and travel in time and space to that house where I grew up and go experience it as if I was a teenager again. And so we have the capacity to go and, experience events in a way that is quite profound, even if it's not 100% like, we can experience things that we might not be ready to experience fully physical. And, I talk about building a spaceship. Well, at this point, it's most likely just going to be a meditation chamber bed. And that, assists us to travel with our mind, our consciousness. And there's people that talk about this Keshi. There's the movie Contact, where it looked like she didn't go anywhere. So, people, I do get some pushback or some rigidity, I suppose, but then it just helps me hone what I can do now, what we all can do now, and what we can access now. And that does bring me to another topic I was hoping to speak about, and I've had some back pain issues lately, which is not quite normal for me, but or it's just been a long time since I've dealt with it, and it makes sense with feeling like there's some deep things coming up in my life, and probably for the whole collective. But what I wanted to talk about was, with this back pain, I just intuitively started using my hands, as I've done many times before, but hadn't really done lately. Just using my hands to work with the energy of my body, and it's really wonderful, and it's really powerful. And I just keep coming back to the human body, the human technology being the most incredible technology we'll ever have access to. And I really want to constantly remind myself of that, because I was watching this video of the DNA, our DNA, how it works the other day, watching it unzip and the RNA molecule being assembled as the DNA is being like a zipper pulling through it, as this RNA molecule is coming off. You see the proteins going in, and it's this little factory, but it's just working so beautifully. It's just absolutely magical. And how the DNA is like an antenna. But yeah, so working with our mind to heal when we have pain, my back is calling out for love and attention. It's asking for my consciousness to be aware that there's something going on there. And so the more I, and just naturally slowing down and moving more slowly and being very, aware and careful and tender of that part of my body. So, and the with body being mostly water and such incredible information coming out these days about how programmable water is and how very instantaneous, Beta Austin has been she's been playing music to the water and then she freezes it. And the water will literally freeze, showing images that are directly related to the song. It's absolutely incredible work. I really, really hope to learn some of her methods and try them out myself, because she took a save the date invitation and exposed the water to that, and it literally formed like 2 bubbles in the shape of a wedding ring, and she said it's really hard to get bubbles to freeze, and the water just did it on its own. I highly recommend her work. I've barely even scratched the surface, but just the images alone are absolutely like a key to show us the magic of this reality that we live in, and absolutely incredible to be, you know, witnessing people gravitate to this same science in such a strong way and leave other fields totally behind in pursuit of this, you know, this incredible, it's really, you know, magic. It's really taking magic and scientifically studying it, what looks like magic, and to where we can be the magicians, the scientists, the alchemists ourselves, the authors of this reality, by being able to better work with the material world around us. And the more that we tap into our etheric self and that aspect of our beingness, the easier it becomes to work with this physical reality and to sort of be able to operate from maybe the lighter aspects of it and be able to interact with the deeper, heavier aspects when appropriate, and loving them and knowing it's all perfect and appropriate. Okay, so I just randomly opened to this page, 3 worlds. There are 3 worlds: the real world, the spiritual world, and the magical world. Actually, all the worlds are the same world, but we see and relate to them differently. In the real world, everything happens deterministic or probabilistic, consistent with the laws of nature and physics. The spiritual world is our inner world of first causes. It is here that we have some consciousness of the holy in other people, and it is here that our free will resides. Our spiritual experiences create differences in our behavior, and they affect the way we live and the way we interpret our situations. It is from the spiritual world that our living with meaning and purpose arises. I'll just read one more paragraph. In the magical world, our consciousness perceives that there is nothing that happens by chance, and what does happen is distinctive in non-expected happenings that are possible in the real world, but not in accord with the expected behavior of the real world. For the religious person, the real world is the magical world, for it is in the real world that God is revealed, in part by our thoughts, feelings, interpretations, and actions. The magical world is the world of awe and wonder, and we feel a joyous ecstasy. It's a really wonderful book. You can find it on Amazon for, I think, about $25. Robert Haralick, Haralick, and just the people that I've gotten to know at all, briefly talked to, or worked with extensively in this field are really, there's just a lot of really wonderful people. So I'm overall grateful again to be alive and to be human at this moment. I just want to finish up with a quick story that I recently heard from an episode that David Adair did. If you ever just want if you want to hear some of the most amazing storytelling on earth you will ever encounter, please just search David Adair videos and maybe go to Rumble to do it. Because I'm not sure what's on YouTube, but I know some creators have needed to go to Rumble, and in particular the Michael Salla interviews. Michael Salla, that's Salla, and if you just search David Adair That's Adair on Rumble. You should see the Michael Sala on Exopolitics today. You should see those interviews come up. But I got some good comic relief last night when I really needed it. But I just wanted to finish up because reading this chapter on magic right after I was talking about magic. So this guy David Adair, I mean, the stuff he's been through in his life, just, you've never heard anything like it. So he's telling this one story in particular, though, where he shows up for his first day of work, the Office of Naval Intelligence. He just went through all that, like a whole bunch of other stuff. And he's going to his first day of work. And there's like, it's in Washington, D.C. somewhere, and there's this white rhinoceros in the street. And it comes towards him and it basically mauls him and then goes and runs away. And there were bystanders that witnessed it. They're like, "Are you okay?" And he goes into the office and tells the guy, and he's like, the guy's telling him, I think he's talking on the phone to someone else, he's like, "You gotta just see this guy, David Adair, because he just attracts the most extraordinary experiences in his life." And so I was watching that, and I was like, yeah, it's like he's living in some kind of charmed life, and everywhere he goes, just magic happens. And I have friends that are like that, and I've experienced that too, where there's just so much energy that just things start moving. When I was in France, there was a restaurant I went to. I was so quiet, and I was doing my drawing, my sacred geometry drawing in the restaurant. But there was all these things that started happening around me, waiters dropping glasses, the soup, a big pot of soup on the stair and the floor above smashed to the floor, and the people across from me, this woman, she looked directly at me and she said, "It's you." And I said, "What?" I said, "I'm just sitting here drawing." I said, you know, babies were screaming, dogs were barking. But you know, consciousness is a plasma vortex, and when we have a very strong, focused plasma vortex of our mind, then we create this implosive effect. And yeah, it can shift the world around us in ways that it might need to be shifted. So, all right, I'll leave you with that. Thank you again for joining me as always in this beautiful moment of time and space where we connect our minds etherically across time and space, because anyone watching it is doing so at probably slightly different times and in different locations. So this is sort of a time-space consciousness exercise, I suppose, and I feel like I'm fully tapping into the magic of that, and it's perhaps why I'm drawn to continue. So much love and gratitude. May your lives just be so full of light and truth and joy and meaning and purpose and family and friends and community and beautiful collaboration. So we're doing this together. Take care.